Have you ever caught your reflection in the mirror and suddenly wondered, is it finally time to cut my hair short? It seems like such a simple question, but somehow, it always carries more weight than we expect. For many older women, especially after 60, this moment doesn't feel like a style choice. It feels like a rite of passage, like we're quietly expected to trade in our long locks for something shorter, neater, more appropriate. I'll be honest with you. I asked myself that same question. More than once. I remember standing in the bathroom, scissors in hand, thinking maybe shorter hair would be easier, maybe it would be what people expected. But deep down, I felt like I was saying goodbye to something I wasn't quite ready to let go of. Can you relate? Here's the good news. You don't have to let go of anything you're not ready to. Keeping your long hair, or even growing it back, isn't a radical act. It's a quiet, beautiful decision to stay connected to a part of yourself. And it's easier than you think. With just a few thoughtful changes, your hair can thrive and even shine brighter than it did years ago. Some women say that growing their hair long again brought back a spark they didn't even realize they'd lost. Confidence, softness, a little bit of that boldness from younger days. So why not take a closer look? Maybe it's not really about the hair at all. Maybe it's about you, your joy, your story, your strength. Have you ever felt torn between what the world expects and what your heart quietly wants? If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. 1. The origin of the short hair rule after 50. Looking back through time, it's almost comical how certain rules about beauty manage to sneak into our lives and settle there as if they belonged. The short hair after 50 rule is one of those odd little relics. An unspoken law that never had to be written down but was somehow absorbed by generations of women, passed from one household to the next, whispered in salons, and nodded to approvingly at family dinners. When you start to peel back the layers, it's hard not to wonder, where did this rule even come from? Why did it become such a marker of aging gracefully? And why, even now, do so many of us feel that silent nudge to go for the big chop, just because a certain birthday has come and gone? Let's rewind to a different era. Imagine yourself in the 1950s or early 1960s. America was booming, suburbs were sprawling, and magazines like Ladies' Home Journal and Good Housekeeping sat on every coffee table. There were picture-perfect women on every page. Poised, smiling, and always put together. Hair played a starring role in this image. For younger women, long hair was a sign of vibrance, romance, and maybe even a little rebellion. But for women of a certain age, something shifted. The message became clear, even if it was never said out loud. Adulthood meant responsibility, dignity, and practicality. And nothing was more practical than a short, tidy haircut. Somewhere along the way, long hair came to symbolize youthfulness, sensuality, and even defiance. It was the stuff of fairy tales and high school proms, not PTA meetings or bridge clubs. So, as the decades rolled by, mothers, aunts, grandmothers, and friends would encourage the women they loved to be sensible, to cut their hair and step gracefully into the next phase of life. For many, this transition wasn't just about appearance. It was a declaration that you were done with youthful dreams and ready to accept your role as a wise, steady hand in your family and community. Think back. Maybe you remember the first time someone suggested that you might want to try something shorter, something age-appropriate. Maybe it was your mother, recalling the first time she had her hair cropped close after your little brother was born and she simply didn't have time to fuss with it. Or perhaps it was a well-meaning stylist who glanced at your graying roots and smiled, "A nice bob would be so flattering and easy for you, dear." The truth is, no one ever really asked what you wanted. They assumed you'd want to make life simpler, that letting go of long hair was a kindness, a favor to yourself. But the roots of this tradition go even deeper. In the early and mid-20th century, American culture was all about control, especially when it came to women. Magazines, TV, and Hollywood movies painted a picture of the ideal older woman as tidy, gracious, and above all, modest. Think of television's Donna Reed or June Cleaver, always perfect, never a strand out of place. Short hair was a symbol of respectability and control, qualities that society valued in women, especially as they aged. The longer, flowing hair of youth was seen as impractical, even unruly, suggesting a wildness that was supposed to have been tamed by the time you hit your 40s or 50s. There's something both comforting and unsettling about this. On one hand, it's nice to know that our mothers and grandmothers weren't alone. They were simply doing what everyone around them was doing. On the other hand, it stings a little to realize that so many of our choices weren't our own. We were nudged, shaped, and sometimes outright pressured by trends, social expectations, and the subtle or not so subtle opinions of others. If you close your eyes, maybe you can picture a memory from your own life. Maybe you're standing in a crowded beauty parlor, surrounded by the warm buzz of hairdryers and the sharp, comforting scent of hairspray. Maybe you see yourself perched in a chair as a stylist. Someone you trust, someone who's known you for years, wraps the cape around your shoulders. "Ready for something a little shorter?" she asks, voice cheerful. Everyone nods approvingly. It's almost a rite of passage, this moment when a woman, after decades of braids, ponytails, or letting her hair fall loose down her back, trades it all in for a neat bob or a chic pixie cut. Sometimes it feels liberating, but just as often, it feels like letting go of a little piece of yourself. There were practical reasons, too, of course. In the busy years of raising families, running households, or holding down jobs, a shortcut was easier. There were fewer tangles to brush out in the morning and fewer moments spent at the sink or the mirror. For many women, short hair meant more time for the important things. Or, at least, that's what we were told. But as anyone who's ever worn a pixie cut can attest, short hair comes with its own set of challenges. More frequent trims, more attention to shape, and just as much need for care. Still, the tradition held fast. It became so ingrained that even women who loved their long hair began to question themselves as they aged. Am I being silly? Does this make me look like I'm trying too hard? Will people think I haven't accepted my age? The pressure wasn't always overt, but it was always there, like a whisper in the back of your mind every time you reached for a hair tie or admired a soft wave in the mirror. It's interesting, too, to notice how this rule is almost exclusively applied to women. Men, after all, have been allowed to keep their hair however they liked, silver ponytails and all, without so much as a raised eyebrow. But for women, the standards were different. Age was supposed to bring with it not just wisdom, but also a kind of quiet invisibility. You were expected to fade into the background, to let your style become understated, controlled, and appropriate. In that light, the simple act of keeping your hair long could feel rebellious, almost scandalous. And yet, if you look beyond the surface, you'll see stories of quiet defiance everywhere. There have always been women who refused to cut their hair, who kept their long, silver braids or soft waves, no matter what the neighbors thought. Maybe you remember someone like that, a great aunt, a neighbor, a friend's grandmother, whose hair was a shimmering rope down her back, a symbol of continuity, of self-possession. These women stood out, not because they wanted attention, but because they stayed true to themselves, even as the world tried to tell them who they should become. It's worth asking, what did those women know that others didn't? Maybe they understood that beauty isn't about fitting into a box, or pleasing the crowd, or ticking off some imaginary list of what's age-appropriate. Maybe they knew that hair, like every part of us, tells a story. And the story doesn't have to end just because someone else says it's time. Of course, times have changed. The world is different now. More open, more accepting, more willing to question the rules that no longer serve us. Social media is filled with women in their 60s, 70s, and 80s sharing photos of long, healthy hair and radiant, unapologetic smiles. There are communities, whole networks, of women lifting each other, celebrating every silver strand, every soft curl. If you ever doubted that you could keep your long hair and still be seen as vibrant, just spend 5 minutes scrolling through the stories of real women living life on their terms. The short hair after 50 rule may have been the standard for generations, but it's finally being rewritten. And yet, it's okay to feel a little nostalgic about the past, too. Maybe you have fond memories of your mother's sensible bob or the way your grandmother's hair was always set perfectly for Sunday church. These traditions were meaningful in their way. They marked milestones, created bonds, and gave us a sense of belonging. But now, you have the freedom to choose your path. Maybe you want to keep your hair short. Maybe you adore the ease and elegance of a soft, neat cut. Or maybe, for the first time in decades, you feel a quiet urge to let your hair grow, to rediscover the feeling of soft strands brushing your shoulders or a braid draped down your back. The most important thing to remember is this: whatever you choose, it should be for you. Not for anyone else. Not for tradition, or the magazines, or for the neighbor down the street who always has an opinion. The origin of the short hair after 50 rule isn't some scientific law or medical necessity. It's a story. And like every story, it can be retold, reimagined, or even gently set aside. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So next time you find yourself thinking about your hair, wondering if you're too old for a ponytail or if it's time to let go of those extra inches, pause and ask yourself what you want. Your hair is your history, your pride, your beauty, and your choice. No matter what anyone else might say, you've earned the right to write your own rules. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful tradition of all. 2. Does long hair make women look older? For decades, a single phrase has been quietly passed around like a cautionary tale at family gatherings, beauty salons, and women's groups everywhere. Long hair makes you look older. The words might have come from a mother, a stylist, a friend, or even that persistent voice in your head, echoing each time you glanced in the mirror and toyed with the idea of letting your hair grow just a little bit longer. But is it true? Or is this just another one of those unchallenged beliefs that found its way into our hearts and routines, quietly shaping how we see ourselves, especially as the years add up? It's an odd thing, the way the world treats women's hair as a barometer of age and, somehow, even worth it. You'll hear it everywhere. Long hair drags your face down. Long hair only flatters young women. You'll look tired, washed out of touch if you don't cut it. For many women, the weight of these words grows heavier with each birthday. That uncertainty creeps in. Am I trying too hard to hold on to youth? Am I ignoring reality? Is my hair the only thing people notice now? I know I've had those thoughts. Sometimes they come quietly in the morning, as I brush through the soft, silver strands that seem to multiply overnight. Other times, they pop up unexpectedly, triggered by a magazine headline or a well-meaning friend's advice. It's almost as if there's a script we're supposed to follow. At some invisible milestone, we're meant to put away the long hair of our younger days and exchange it for something shorter, neater, more sensible. But who wrote this script, and why are we still reading from it? Let's pull back the curtain and examine this myth with fresh eyes. Is there any truth at all to the claim that long hair makes women look older? The honest answer is both yes and no, but mostly, it depends on how you wear your hair and how you feel about it. Let's start with the physical reality. Hair, like the rest of us, changes with age. It can become finer, drier, and more brittle. The shine may fade, the color may shift, and the bounce might be a little less lively than it was at 25. If left completely untreated, dry, shapeless, or unstyled, long hair might not do us any favors. Hair that hangs heavy and lifeless can cast shadows, emphasize wrinkles or lines, and give the impression of tiredness. But here's the truth. That's not a problem with length, it's a problem with condition. It's the same with clothes. An old, wrinkled dress does no one any favors, regardless of how fashionable the cut once was. Long hair that is well cared for, trimmed, healthy, softly styled, can be not only flattering but even transformative. Picture two women, both in their late 60s. The first lets her hair grow long but never layers or styles it. It hangs straight, a bit dull, and hides her face. The second embraces her length but adds soft waves, maybe a few face-framing layers, and pays attention to the shine. The difference is striking. The first might look tired, the second, radiant. The length is the same, but the result couldn't be more different. Long hair, when treated with intention, actually brings softness to the jawline, adds movement, and draws the eye toward the face. It can frame your best features and even lend an air of youthful freedom and energy. Stylists who work with older women often say the very same thing. It's not the length, it's how you own it. A chin-length bob that's unstyled can age someone as quickly as long, limp hair. But a shoulder skimming cut, styled with a little wave, or long hair swept into a gentle braid or loose bun, is not only flattering but also versatile. That's the real secret. Versatility. Long hair gives you choices. On days when you want to feel elegant, you can sweep it up. On days when you want to feel a little wild, you can let it tumble down. On days when you're in between, a simple ponytail or a half-up style can be just the right mix of playful and polished. What makes a woman look older is not her hair length, but the way she feels about her hair. There's a certain kind of glow that comes from loving your reflection, from feeling that the image in the mirror matches the energy you carry inside. Disconnection and neglect, those are the true culprits. When you feel disconnected from your appearance, when you let go of the small things that make you feel beautiful, it's as if a light dims from within. And the world, always eager for easy explanations, might blame your hair when it's about so much more. Here's a thought worth holding on to. What ages us is the feeling of giving up on ourselves. It's when we start to believe the voices that say, it doesn't matter anymore. When we stop trying new things, stop exploring what feels good, and instead shrink ourselves to fit the expectations of others. Long hair, in this sense, is not just a style choice, it's a small act of defiance. It's saying, I'm still here, still growing, still discovering what makes me feel like myself. It's also important to consider how hair is often tied to memory and identity. Many women over 60 talk about how their long hair connects them to younger versions of themselves. They remember the feeling of wind blowing through their hair on a summer's day, or the way their children's little fingers used to braid it on lazy afternoons. For some, keeping their hair long is a way to keep those memories alive, a way to honor the full journey of who they are. Now, let's talk honestly about maintenance and self-care. There's a reason so many women end up with shorter hair as they age. It's not always about the rules, but about time, energy, and practicality. Long hair does take a little more effort. But if the joy of running your fingers through soft, shiny hair outweighs the trouble, isn't that a fair trade? With the right routine, good nutrition, regular trims, and a little care, long hair can look beautiful, healthy, and entirely appropriate at any age. It's also worth noting that modern perceptions are shifting. Look around, and you'll see silver-haired icons like Jane Seymour, Christy Brinkley, and Diane Keaton embracing longer locks, confidently showing the world that age is not a barrier to beauty. Even ordinary women, neighbors, friends, sisters, are quietly reclaiming their right to wear their hair as they please, sometimes for the first time in decades. Still, even now, the myth persists. Some women worry that long hair draws attention to thinning or graying, or that it somehow looks as if they're trying too hard. But here's a gentle truth. There's nothing wrong with trying. Trying is the essence of living, of staying engaged with life. Trying new styles, trying a new part, trying a bold new length. These are not signs of vanity, but of vitality. What if the question isn't, does long hair make me look older? But rather, does long hair make me feel more like myself? Imagine how different our choices would be if we listened first to that inner voice. The one that knows what makes us smile, what makes us stand a little taller, what brings us a sense of lightness and joy. I remember speaking to a friend, Ruth, who, at 70, decided to let her hair grow for the first time since her 30s. I thought it would make me look like I was clinging to the past, she laughed. But really, it made me feel like I'd come home to myself. My granddaughter loves to braid it. My husband says I look softer and happier. I don't care if anyone else thinks I look younger or older. I just know I feel more like me. That's what it comes down to in the end. How you feel, not how you're supposed to look. There's no magic number, no correct age to change your hair. You can wear it short, long, straight, curly, pinned up, or left loose. The real transformation happens not in the length, but in the intention. Long hair, tended with love and worn with pride, is timeless. So the next time you find yourself standing in front of the mirror, uncertain, remember that you are not bound by old rules or tired myths. You are free to reinvent yourself as many times as you like. You can honor every year you've lived by choosing what brings you joy, not what keeps you invisible. In the end, long hair does not make you look older. Neglect does. Doubt does. Letting go of what makes you feel beautiful does. But owning your look, whatever that may be, lights you up from the inside out, and nothing is more youthful than that. Let your reflection be a reminder. You are still here, still bold, still full of stories, still growing. And if you want to, you can let your hair tell that story too. 3. The emotional connection to long hair. For as long as most of us can remember, hair has meant so much more than what we see in the mirror. It's never just hair, is it? Not when it's woven through our earliest memories, our biggest milestones, our hardest goodbyes, and our sweetest reunions. For many women, especially as the years pass, long hair becomes a silent companion, a thread that ties together youth and age, freedom and responsibility, change and continuity. And for those of us well into our 60s, 70s, and beyond, the emotional connection to our hair can run deeper than even we might realize. Think back for a moment to your childhood. Maybe you can still remember the gentle touch of your mother's fingers as she brushed your hair before bed, the rhythmic, almost hypnotic sound of bristles working through tangles, the soothing words, and soft lullabies. Maybe your hair was wild and untamed back then, or maybe it was kept in neat braids, tied with ribbons that matched your Sunday dress. There's a comfort in that memory, the sense of being cared for, safe, and loved, all wrapped up in the familiar scent of clean hair and the warmth of a parent's presence. As we grew, so did our relationship with our hair. Through the awkwardness of adolescence, hair was both a shield and a statement. It could be hidden behind, twisted nervously during first crushes, or cut impulsively during moments of rebellion. For some of us, growing our hair long in high school was a mark of independence, proof that we were our person, ready to step out into the world. Long hair fluttered in the wind on summer days, was braided by friends at sleepovers, and soaked with tears after heartbreaks. Each year, it quietly witnessed our joys and sorrows, absorbing the stories we sometimes found too difficult to share out loud. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. By the time we entered adulthood, hair had become more than just a symbol of youth. It was a living archive of experiences. Wedding days when friends and family fussed over curls and veils, adding last-minute pins and sprays. The baby years when little hands would tug and pull, delighted by the feel of soft strands. The long hours at work or the sleepless nights spent comforting a sick child, hair hastily tied up or let down, always there in the background. Hair marked seasons of change, cut short during a crisis, grown out after a fresh start. Each time we changed our hair, we marked a new chapter, even if we didn't realize it at the time. For some women, the decision to cut their hair short after a certain age came with a pang of regret. It wasn't just about style or convenience. It felt like saying goodbye to a part of themselves, as though the girl who once ran barefoot through fields, hair flying behind, was being left behind too. For others, it was a relief, a shedding of old expectations and a step into something new. But for those who have chosen to keep or reclaim their long hair later in life, the feeling is often like a homecoming, a return to a part of themselves that never really disappeared. Ask any woman who has grown her hair long after 60, and you'll hear stories that reach beyond beauty. One might tell you, with a glint in her eye, about the way her granddaughter loves to play hair salon, brushing and braiding, both of them giggling as they experiment with styles. Another might remember her late husband's gentle touch, the way he would absent-mindedly twirl a lock of her hair as they watched television together. Some women recall moments of quiet strength when they looked in the mirror, hair framing their face, and saw not just a reflection but a survivor. Someone who had weathered storms and emerged softer, wiser, and still very much herself. Long hair, in many ways, is an act of remembrance. It's a way of carrying with us all the younger versions of ourselves. The little girl in braids, the young bride, the working mother, the friend, the grandmother. It's a daily affirmation that, despite what the world might say about age or appropriate styles, there are parts of us that are ageless, untamed, and uniquely our own. Sometimes, though, the emotional connection to hair is bittersweet. Some women let their hair grow after years of loss of a spouse, of children grown and moved away, of roles and routines that once defined their days. For them, long hair becomes a small act of defiance, a refusal to fade quietly into the background. It's a visible statement. I am still here. I am still becoming. There's power in that. There's a certain joy in running your hands through your hair, in feeling its weight on your shoulders, in knowing that this, at least, belongs wholly to you. There's another kind of magic in long hair, the sense of freedom it brings. So many women, after years of following rules about what to wear, how to act, what to say, find liberation in making their own choices about their appearance. Maybe it starts small, skipping the hair dye and letting the silver shine through, or refusing the pressure to cut it short for convenience. Each act of self-determination adds up, slowly rebuilding a relationship with the woman in the mirror. Long hair becomes less about vanity and more about authenticity, about honoring your tastes, your comfort, and your sense of what feels right. And it isn't just about holding on to the past. For many, long hair is a way of celebrating the present, of claiming a little beauty in a world that so often seems to reserve it for the young. It's a way of telling yourself, I am still vibrant, still deserving of attention, still able to turn heads. It's also, for some, an invitation to connect with others, to share stories, swap styling tips, or simply compliment a friend whose hair catches the light just so. The emotional connection can deepen even further during times of illness or struggle. For women who have lost their hair to chemotherapy or other treatments, the return of long hair becomes a powerful symbol of resilience and hope. Every inch of new growth is a reminder of battles fought and won, of life continuing, of strength rediscovered. Hair, in these moments, is not just a cosmetic feature but a living, breathing testament to endurance. Even in everyday life, the rituals surrounding long hair have meaning. The gentle care required, brushing, washing, nourishing, becomes a form of self-kindness, a reminder to slow down and attend to yourself. For many older women, these small acts are among the few moments in the day reserved just for them, quiet and unhurried. There is comfort in that rhythm and a sense of grounding that goes beyond appearances. Of course, there will always be critics. There will always be someone who says that long hair is too much work, too young, too this or that. But the truth is, the choice to keep your hair long, to cut it short, or to do anything in between, is yours and yours alone. The world may offer opinions, but only you know the history woven into each strand, the memories, the milestones, the moments of joy and pain. What matters most is how you feel when you catch your reflection. Does your hair remind you of your mother's gentle hands, of summers spent outdoors, of the laughter of children, or the quiet strength of facing difficult days? Does it give you comfort, joy, and a sense of beauty that is wholly yours? Does it make you feel like yourself? If the answer is yes, then hold on to that. Let your hair be as long or as short as your heart desires. Let it be a celebration of every chapter, every lesson, every bit of love and resilience that has carried you this far. You've earned the right to write your own story, and if long hair is part of that story, then let it shine. As we grow older, we are told to expect a narrowing of possibilities, but the truth is that every year adds richness to the tapestry of who we are. Our hair, long, silver, wavy, straight, or wild, is just one thread, but what a beautiful, enduring thread it is. So the next time you run a brush through your hair, twist it up or let it fall freely down your back, know that you are not just caring for hair, you are honoring every part of your journey. And that, perhaps, is the most beautiful thing of all. 4. Choosing styles that match face shape and hair texture after 60. As we journey through life, our faces tell stories of laughter, tears, wisdom, and resilience. With every year that passes, our features evolve, and with them, so too does what styles best highlight our unique beauty. When it comes to hair, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, especially after 60. Choosing a hairstyle that complements your face shape and works with your hair texture isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling confident, comfortable, and radiant on your own. Let's begin with face shape because understanding yours is one of the most empowering steps you can take. Think of your face as a canvas, each curve and angle offering clues to what will best frame your features. If you have a round face, for example, you might notice your cheeks are fuller and your face appears more circular. The key here is to create length and definition. Long hair can be your best friend. Styles that add soft layers or gentle waves help elongate your face, drawing the eye downward and away from roundness. Avoid blunt cuts that stop at the chin, as they tend to emphasize fullness. Instead, consider subtle face-framing layers or side-swept bangs that add dimension and softness. For those blessed with an oval face, congratulations! This is often called the most versatile face shape because it suits almost any hairstyle. You have the freedom to experiment with shoulder-length cuts, long flowing layers, or even shorter pixies if you choose. The trick is to maintain balance, ensuring your hair doesn't overwhelm your features. Pay attention to how your hairstyle highlights your best angles, whether it's cheekbones, eyes, or jawline, and play them up with gentle waves or a bit of volume. Square faces, with their strong jawlines and angular features, call for styles that soften and balance. Long hair with movement works beautifully here. Think of soft curls or textured ends that create flow and take the edge off sharp lines. Avoid very straight, severe cuts that emphasize the angularity. Instead, opt for layers that add softness around your face, or styles that tuck behind the ears to showcase your natural bone structure without being too harsh. If your face is long or narrow, you might find that very long, straight hair can sometimes elongate your face further, which may not be flattering. But don't worry. Long hair can still work wonderfully if styled thoughtfully. Adding volume on the sides, through waves or curls, can give width and balance. Bangs are also a great option, whether full, wispy, or side-swept, to break up the length and add dimension. Now, while face shape offers a map for choosing styles, hair texture is the natural rhythm that will guide your choices even more deeply. As we age, hair texture often changes, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. Thick hair may thin out, curls may loosen, straight hair may become more prone to frizz or breakage. If your hair is naturally fine or thinning, layers can be your secret weapon. Long layers create the illusion of fullness and movement, preventing hair from looking flat or lifeless. Lightweight styling products, such as mousses or volumizing sprays, help lift roots without weighing hair down. It's best to avoid heavy creams or oils that can make fine hair appear greasy or limp. For those with coarse or curly hair, longer styles can actually be very flattering, helping to weigh curls down just enough to control frizz while preserving bounce and shape. Regular deep conditioning treatments are key to keeping curls hydrated and soft, and trims every 6 to 8 weeks prevent split ends from traveling up the shaft and causing breakage. If your hair falls somewhere between straight and curly, wavy or a bit unruly, Embracing the natural texture can be the most chic and effortless look. Long, tousled waves are timeless and full of life, perfect for adding softness around the face. Gentle scrunching or texturizing sprays can enhance your waves without making your hair stiff or crunchy. One important tip regardless of texture or face shape: a good haircut is everything. Long hair doesn't mean shapeless hair. Whether you prefer your hair cascading freely or styled into gentle updos, intentional layers, face framing cuts, and movement breathe life into your look. Even a subtle trim can make a dramatic difference in how your hair complements your features and flows with your natural texture. Color also plays a powerful role in styling after 60. Embracing natural silver or gray can be stunning, especially when styled in soft waves or brushed back looks that highlight your skin's natural glow. If you prefer coloring, lighter tones and highlights can add depth and vibrancy, bringing softness to mature skin. Warm shades, soft blondes, or gentle highlights can brighten your complexion and accentuate your eyes, while cool tones add a modern edge. Beyond the physical aspects, choosing a style that suits your personality and lifestyle is just as important. Whether you enjoy the elegance of a smooth, polished look or prefer the carefree vibe of loose, natural waves, your hairstyle should feel authentic and manageable. Confidence shines brightest when you're comfortable, and that ease comes from a style that fits your everyday life. Remember, hairstyles are not about chasing youth or fitting into someone else's ideal of beauty. They're about celebrating who you are now, honoring your journey, and expressing your individuality. So, whether you choose a flowing mane, a layered cascade, or gentle curls that dance with every breeze, make sure it's a style that makes you smile when you look in the mirror. In the end, the best hairstyle after 60 is one that makes you feel vibrant, radiant, and unapologetically you. It's a style that embraces your face shape and works with your hair texture, not against it. It's a style that tells your story, enhances your features, and supports your confidence every day. So take a moment to reflect. What styles have you loved in the past? Which ones have made you feel truly beautiful? Are there new looks you've been curious to try? With a bit of guidance and a lot of heart, you can find a hairstyle that feels fresh, flattering, and perfectly suited to your life today. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. After all, your hair is more than just strands. It's a crown you wear with pride, a statement of your unique beauty, and a symbol of the woman you've become. And at any age, that deserves to shine. 5. How to maintain long hair at an older age. Maintaining long hair as we gracefully age can feel like a journey, sometimes rewarding, sometimes challenging, but always deeply personal. If you've chosen to keep your hair long after 60, you already know it's more than just a style. It's a statement of your spirit, your history, and your confidence. But as the years pass, our hair changes, and so does the care it needs. The good news is that with the right approach, maintaining long hair can become a soothing ritual, a daily act of kindness to yourself that brings out your natural beauty and vitality. One of the most common challenges older women face with long hair is dryness. As we age, our scalp produces less natural oil, which means hair can become brittle, dull, and prone to breakage. That's why hydration is everything. Start by choosing a gentle, sulfate-free shampoo and a rich, moisturizing conditioner designed specifically for mature hair. These products help replenish moisture without stripping away the oils your hair needs. Consider adding a deep conditioning mask once a week, a luxurious treat that nourishes the strands, focusing on the mid-lengths and ends where dryness often sets in. Scalp health is another cornerstone of healthy hair. Often overlooked, the scalp is the soil from which your hair grows, and it needs care too. Gentle scalp massages, just a few minutes each day, can stimulate blood flow, encouraging new growth and maintaining follicle health. You might even explore lightweight scalp serums or oils that nourish without weighing hair down. A healthy scalp often means healthier, shinier hair. Trimming regularly might seem counterintuitive when you want to grow your hair long, but it's a vital part of maintenance. Split ends are the enemy of long hair. They travel up the hair shaft, causing breakage and thinning. Scheduling a trim every 6 to 8 weeks keeps the ends fresh and prevents damage from spreading. Think of it as pruning a garden. It helps your hair grow stronger and fuller. When it comes to styling, less is more. Heat tools like curling irons, straighteners, and blow dryers can wreak havoc on mature hair, especially if it's already fragile. Embrace air drying whenever possible. When you do use heat, always apply a heat protectant spray to minimize damage. Soft waves, loose buns, or low ponytails can be both stylish and gentle on your hair. Experiment with styles that require minimal heat and fuss but still let your natural beauty shine. Nourishing your hair from the inside out is equally important. A balanced diet rich in protein, omega-3 fatty acids, iron, vitamins D and B-complex, and biotin can improve hair texture, thickness, and strength. Staying well hydrated benefits your hair just as much as your skin. If you're considering supplements, it's always a good idea to consult your healthcare provider, but many women find that a daily multivitamin or specialized hair supplement helps fill nutritional gaps. The tools you use to care for your hair make a difference too. Choose brushes and combs designed to be gentle, like a wide tooth comb or a soft bristle brush. Always start detangling from the ends and work your way up slowly to avoid tugging and breaking strands. This mindful approach reduces breakage and keeps your hair looking smooth. Embracing your natural texture is one of the kindest gifts you can give your hair. Whether your hair is naturally straight, wavy, curly, or somewhere in between, working with your hair's natural tendencies instead of fighting them will reduce damage and stress. Long gray waves, soft curls, or sleek straight styles can all be stunning when nurtured with the right products and care routines. Consistency is the secret ingredient. You don't need a complicated, multi-step routine or a cabinet full of expensive products. What you need is patience, love, and regular care. Small, daily acts, like gently massaging your scalp, applying nourishing treatments, or using a hydrating conditioner, add up over time to create hair that feels soft, vibrant, and full of life. Long hair at this stage of life isn't about perfection. It's about connection to yourself, your beauty, and the story your hair tells. Once you find your rhythm, hair care transforms from a chore into a comforting ritual, a way to honor the woman you've become. Remember, your hair doesn't define you, but how you care for it can reflect your self-respect and joy. Whether your hair cascades freely down your back, is styled into soft waves, or gathered into a loose bun, maintaining it with kindness will keep it looking its best and help you feel radiant every day. So, if you're ready to nurture your long hair with love and care, know that you're joining countless women who've discovered that age is just a number, and that beautiful, healthy hair is possible at any stage of life. As we come to the close of this conversation, it's important to remember that your hair, whether long, short, silver, curly, or straight, is a part of your story, but it does not define you. What truly matters is the woman behind the hair, the one who has lived, loved, and grown through every season of life. You've earned every strand of silver and every soft wave that frames your face. These aren't signs of fading beauty. They are marks of resilience, wisdom, and grace. Choosing to keep your hair long after 60, or deciding to cut it short, should never be about meeting someone else's expectations or following outdated rules. It's about honoring who you are today and embracing what makes you feel confident and joyful. Beauty is not a fixed standard. It deepens with every experience you've gathered, every smile you've shared, and every challenge you've overcome. If this journey has inspired you to rethink your relationship with your hair, then that's a beautiful step forward. Let your hair be a celebration of your freedom. The freedom to choose, to express, and to shine exactly as you are. Don't wait for permission or validation. You deserve to feel radiant, vibrant, and unapologetically yourself every single day. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for embracing your unique beauty. Remember, aging is not about losing your shine. It's about letting it glow brighter. Stay bold, stay beautiful, and above all, stay you.